Hi, this is Jeremy Schoonmaker, Pre-Sales DC with the HV Channel MPS Group. And today I'm going to show you in this video some home screen customizations on FutureSmart devices. I'm running on the HP LaserJet M527 running FutureSmart 4.7. Now I've got my remote control panel up so you can see some of what we're going to be doing. We're going to be jumping back and forth a lot. We're going to start in the embedded web server, and we're going to go to General, and first we're going to look at some language and keyboard layout things. So by default, obviously the device is set to English. During the out-of-box experience, you can change that if needed to, but if you ever need to do that again, you can come here and go to General and look at this control panel language and keyboard layouts. Now here you can change the language if you need to whatever you like. You see there's quite a few options available. But in terms of home screen customization, other than changing the language, there's 3 options here. The first is to allow users to change another language for their session. So by default, and now look over at the remote control panel, when you go up to this little eye icon here, this information icon, you have the ability to change the display language. Okay, so when I uncheck this box and apply it, then what we'll see is that you can't change that language any longer. So if you don't want people to go through and mess with your device and change it to Arabic or whatever, you can do that. And you see that now the language option is gone. So that's number one. Number 2, you can do the same thing with a keyboard layout, okay? So the keyboard, again, by default, and I'll use Scan to USB here to show this. By default, the keyboard is in English, and there's a little world icon you see right down here. That allows you to change the language of the keyboard. Okay, so if you need to, then you can change it, right? I could change it to traditional Chinese. Might throw some people off again, so what you can do is you can disable the ability to change the language, and you just do that by unchecking this box right here and then clicking Apply. So once I do that, then the next time I come in here to the Scan to USB drive, what we should see is when I type on here, now that box is grayed out and I can't click it and can't change the language. So it's stuck on the language that it's in there. The last thing you can do is you can actually completely disable the virtual keyboard if you wanted to. This would probably only be a smart thing to do if you're using a device that has a pull-out keyboard, a Flow device. If you want to do that, you just click the Enable Virtual Keyboard box, you uncheck that and click Apply. And then again, now when you go in here to any sort of text field, instead of the virtual keyboard popping up, nothing will pop up. Now I have a keyboard so I can still type here, but if you don't have a keyboard, you probably want to leave that on. So that's all the language and keyboard layout options. Now next I'm going to jump over here to display settings. Now the display settings are some basic display options on the front panel, and you can change this both from the front panel and from the embedded web server. I'll show you first from the embedded web server, then I'll show you where it is that you can change them from the front panel. So you see that there's a couple buttons that you can turn on and off. First of all, you can turn off the system sound. There's little clicks every time you touch the front panel, so you can disable those if you want to, if you don't like those little clicks. They're supposed to be good feedback for knowing that you've actually clicked something. So a couple things that you can do is you can uncheck this help button. You see there's a little question mark up in the corner, so you can take that off. There's also the date and time. If I actually click on that 3:45, you'll see that the date will pop up for me. So I can disable that if you want to. I'm going to go ahead and apply those so you could see those disappear if you want to. So that's applied, and I'm going to reset my screen. And when this finishes clearing, you should see that those buttons are no longer there, right? So if you want to take those out, you definitely can. Another thing that you can do is the connection information. So here under the information icon, you see that there's options for connection information either through Ethernet or web services. Now I can first of all just shut off the connection instructions. So I'll do that first, and you'll see that now these screens are a little bit more simplified. So when I go back in here now, you'll see that when I click on Ethernet, all that text above the information is all gone, and the same thing with web services. So if you just want to simplify that, you can. Also, you can take that off completely if you don't want users to be able to know what the IP address is, so they can't, do something malicious. You can just remove that completely. So again, I turn that off, and now when I go back into that information screen, you see that the Ethernet and web services area are completely gone. So it's just a couple additional customizations you can do. Two final things on this screen that I'm going to show you. First is the inactivity timeout. This defines how long it takes for the screen to darken and to automatically sign a user out. By default, it's set to 1 minute, so the users will stay signed in for 1 minute and the screen will stay there. If you shrink this down to 10 seconds or 15 seconds, then the screen will dim and it'll sign users out faster. That may be something you want to do for security reasons if you're using like a badge solution or sign-ins. And then the last thing here is the cancel button. So by default, when I start to do a job, and I'll do just a quick copy job, you'll see that a little red button shows up here. This is called the cancel button. Here's the catch with this button. This button doesn't actually cancel anything. All it does is pause the device. So then you have to go into the job log and then actually cancel jobs. So the reason you might not want this is because if somebody pauses the device thinking they're canceling their job completely and then walks away, the device will stay paused and jobs won't continue to come out. So you may want to disallow that cancel button from being shown at the front panel. So you just apply that, and now you see, again, I'm going to do another copy job, and this time the little red check box isn't going to pop up. So those are some additional customizations you can do to the front panel. Last thing, by the way, I told you I'd show you from the front panel how you can change some of these things. You swipe over to the settings icon, and then you'll go to General and Display Settings. And a lot of those things I showed there, the information icons, the inactivity timeout, the system sound, etc., can be changed here, as well as the display brightness. So that's some more customizations you can do on a future smart device on the control panel.